It's been a rough couple of weeks for most of us emotionally and spiritually as we've tried to grapple, first of all, with the senseless killing of George Floyd, and secondly, with the resultant social upheaval that's captured many of our cities, including our own, and gone on around the country. And in times like this, it can be hard to know what to do, who to listen to, how to listen well, and what to think. I want you to know that your elders and I are right there with you in the midst of the difficulty and the confusion. And what we have been doing is praying and also reaching out to listen and to learn from friends and pastors that we trust. People like Brian Key and Joshua Eggerson, who most of you know from times that they have preached at Coram Deo. And so I want you to know about two specific things we're doing this week to help our church engage the conversation about race and justice that we need to have in America. First of all, we released just this morning the first part of a podcast with Brian Key on that topic. It's on the Wednesday Conversation podcast. The second part of that conversation will release next Wednesday. And so I'd like you to listen to that. You can subscribe to it if you haven't, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can listen to it at the Coram Deo website. Second, we're going to press pause in our series on the parables this Sunday in order to address directly and squarely the sin of racism. And so you can pray for me as I prepare to preach that sermon. And I'd really be blessed if you would join us either in person or on the live stream. This is a very, very important moment for us to think about this stuff biblically and to learn how God wants us to engage our own hearts and our society in the midst of it. So there is certainly much more that we'll need to say and do in the coming weeks, but these are two things that we want to do right now this week and that I'd like to ask you to engage in together. The final thing I want to invite you to is just to pray. And I want to remind you that we have a prayer gathering every morning at 7 a.m. At the building. During the season of COVID, because of concerns about being out and about, that gathering sort of went off the radar a little bit. People still showed up, but many of us just didn't think about it. I want to put it back on your radar because in the past 2 weeks, that's been a significant place for us to express lament, to pray for our city, to pray for our country. It's one of the places where we as a church can come together and seek the Lord in a moment like this. And so I want to invite you to join us for prayer every morning of the week at 7 a.m. if that's something that you're capable of doing and able to do. That's a meaningful place where we can express lament and concern to God together. So consider joining us in the coming weeks for that prayer gathering. And please pray for me as we get ready for this Sunday. I'll see you then.